All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Reeve. I'm the manager of campus programs for Furman Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and super excited because today we have a good friend of mine, David Kaszycki, joining us just to talk a little bit about himself and his venture. David, I'll let you do a quick introduction. I know you're a Furman alum, so just touch on, you graduated and kind of who you are.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously my name is David Kaszycki. I was a 2012 graduate of Furman University. So really excited to be back, coming on campus a couple of weeks ago for the pitch competition and then back to chat more with Matt about what we're doing. But since graduating from Furman, I had a couple different roles, but had always been involved and excited about entrepreneurial journey. I'd started some kind of internal skunkworks initiatives at some of the companies that I worked for. And then now I've, finally made the jump to going full time into my new venture, which is going very well.
And I know everyone that's watching watched the pitch competition, but just in case they need a refresher on Beam Dynamics, just a simple, what's the problem y'all found and how did you create the solution?
Yeah, so Beam is really bridging the communication barrier between product owners in the film industry, so the engineers on film and TV sets, and the manufacturers. So these two parties have to communicate constantly to keep their productions on air, on time, and on budget. So if a camera drops off in the middle of a major motion picture shoot, that can be literally $100,000 per hour if they're down on set. And so seeing this again and again, we said they really need a better tool to find the information that they need. So in net sum, it's basically an asset management system, but specifically designed for film and broadcast and for the engineers and the people that actually work on those sets.
So your solution is a solution for the people who actually have the problem. You're not selling to the higher ups, you're selling to the people working on this problem.
And what we saw is that really there's a lot of asset management systems out there, but they're really focused on the financial piece, right? So they're not actually a tool for people that work with the physical equipment to manage it. It's really for the financial people to amortize and depreciate the asset. So when we started talking to these engineers and doing this discovery with almost 100 of these different engineers on set, we saw they actually don't have a good tool to manage this equipment. And so we said, that's exactly where we need to start, is giving them something that they can have in their pocket when they're on set. When something breaks, they can get it up and running as quickly as possible.
Sure. So tell us a bit about your professional background before you actually founded Beam Dynamics.
Yeah, certainly. So after graduating, I had a couple internships in New York City. So I ended up moving up there right after graduation and worked for a marketing and media firm. And that kind of got me into this media and entertainment industry. From there, I went on to work for LG Electronics, so one of the largest manufacturers in the world that does produce different types of technologies for film, video, broadcast. And then from there, ended up finding my way to actually the largest manufacturer in the film and broadcast industry called the Vitek Group. So the Vitek Group had roughly 27 total brands under the group. So everything from lights, batteries, teleprompters, robotic camera systems. And in that role, I worked with roughly 400 film and broadcast studios across the United States. So I really got an in-depth, understanding of how these studios operate, working with the engineers on set, and understanding how productions are run. And when I was there, I just continued to see the same problem virtually every studio that I went in, that these studios and the engineers just didn't have a good tool to manage all of the thousands of pieces of equipment on set. And so that kind of led me on this journey for over 2.5 years, kind of thinking in the back of my head, I know there's something here, I know there's a problem, can I build it? And then last year is when we really started digging into the problem.
Yeah, it's funny how it's easy to find a problem when you are actually in the throes of it and doing that work. So can you just tell us a little bit more about what led you to launch Beam Dynamics when you did?
Certainly. So I think one of the hardest things with starting a company is getting a great co-founder. So it's hard to put a lot on yourself, and that's what I've done in the past, kind of start and stop things. But I knew that for this venture and the problem we're solving, I needed to find a great partner. So I actually pinged one of my old coworkers that was a brilliant mechanical engineer, did some of the sales side as well. And I said, hey, I've got this idea. So we met for dinner, I guess, December of 2019, chatted about the idea, got him on board, and then we were basically off and running. He saw the same exact problem in his industry as a manufacturer of how they actually, helped their customers manage all the equipment that they own. And so from that really led us to really start diving in 2020, seeing, can we actually solve this problem? Is the problem big enough? Do these engineers on set have a need? So we really spent, I would say, 6 to 9 months just discovering if there was a problem, if there was technology to solve it, and if we could actually do it at a reasonable cost. And we continued to see yes, yes, yes to all of those questions that we had. And that led us to developing a basic MVP towards the end of 2020, which we launched for mobile devices. And then from there, we won a North Carolina state grant. We raised a little bit of money. And with that traction, it really made me feel comfortable leaving my job and doing this full time, as we were kind of at the point where, I was kind of handcuffed a little bit, not being able to devote my full effort. And so since December of last year, I've been full time and things have not slowed down.
So I know you've been working on this for a while and there's a ton of growth potential for Beam, but looking just a little short term, what is the next step for Beam?
Yeah, so we've made a tremendous amount of progress growing from our kind of mobile app to now building out a full end-to-end solution that we're going to launch kind of more of an enterprise product. So we're actually started pilot test with about 10 different film and broadcast studios in the last 3 to 4 weeks, which is really exciting. We'll kind of take that and hope to have a full product launch in October of this year. So we got a lot of work to do, but that's great traction from that side. And what we've also seen is obviously the manufacturers want a way to communicate to their customers, right? More and more of their sales are going through resale channels like Amazon and B&H. So a lot of these manufacturers only know about 5% of who their customers are, which is crazy. So we're actually also developing partnerships with about 15 launch manufacturers to give them a portal to actually push firmware updates, end-of-life notices, recalls, product manuals to their customers, because right now they just don't have a portal. So kind of really seeing ourselves as a central player in the industry, but it's great to see both the customers and the manufacturers kind of coming together to one platform, which is Beam, to help them both kind of increase efficiency and ultimately keep these productions on air.
So a slight shift. You recently joined us, like I mentioned, for the second annual Paddle and Pitch competition. You got second place. We were super grateful to have you, and it was great to see, the alum participation, aka you went to Furman, had this hunger, and then kept it growing until now. So that's always great for us to see. But what made you want to connect with Furman Innovation, and why do you think our institute is an important part of the Furman community?
So if you walk around campus today, you probably see digital screens that are pushing, advertisements for CLPs and information and emergency alerts. So I actually put the first one on campus over 10 years ago, 2010, when I was a sophomore. So that was really my first foray into true entrepreneurship. And then from there it grew, but doing that, it was really a challenge to find the support that I needed, from the financial support, from the legal support, and just how do you run a business? Great professors were there that helped me and kind of led me along that journey. But at the end of the day, after about 2.5 years, the business really fizzled out. We kind of had put all of our eggs in one basket. We were making money, but we didn't really understand how to manage our financials or how much we actually needed to grow the business. So when I saw more, actually one of my fraternity brothers from Furman reached out to me and said, hey, I see that Furman Innovation has a pitch competition. You should look into it. And from there, I started doing research. I said, gosh, I wish something like this had existed when I was on campus, because it really is a challenge starting a company. One, it's a big risk, but I think doing it on campus it's the lowest risk time you may have in your life to start a company, to understand the foundations of it. So it was just something that I saw that I could really dive in fully and give back my time and energy because I was looking to give more back to Furman, exactly what we needed, exactly if I was a student there, I would have wanted. And I think it ultimately would have helped my business be successful. And I might not be doing Beam, I might be doing, that old thing. So I'm really excited to see what's going on with Furman Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Glad that we can kind of fill that gap and glad that you're a part of this, helping out. So speaking of helping out, you've got a lot of wisdom under your belt, David. What is a piece of advice or guidance you would give to maybe a college you right now?
I think that it's talk to everyone and ask for advice. I think early on it's easy to get timid or be afraid to talk to your customers, say, what do you really want? What do you really need? Or just to kind of reach out to someone out of the blue, whether it's an advisor, a friend's parent, something like that. I see that that's the biggest thing is, don't ever be afraid to reach out. I think you'll always be surprised by what people will give back to you. And if they don't know someone, if they don't know the answer themselves, they probably know someone that can help you or find that answer. I think that's really the biggest thing is just talk to everyone, ask everyone. And I think you're going to be surprised by both the Furman network as well as the non-Furman network, just who gets excited about what you're doing. Because they know that entrepreneurship is not easy, right? It's a challenge, it's a risk. I'm stressed a lot, but there's people that have been through it and can offer you that support and guidance.
Yeah. And speaking of that Furman network, we're not gonna let you out of here without helping you out a little bit. So how can the Furman network, everybody watching, how can they connect with you and learn more about Beam Dynamics?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, beamdynamics.io, which we're gonna have updates on our pending product launch, or you can follow us on LinkedIn, obviously Beam Dynamics, and find our information there. And then help from the Furman network. I think, as I said, we're always looking for connections. Anyone within the film and broadcast entertainment market or industry, connections to that, just to talk to more people, to use our product, get in their hands. And then also we are going through a capital raise. It seems like with a business, there's always different funding and capital needs that you have. So that's something that we're focused on over the next 2 to 3 months. So once again, if anyone has any connections there, we do have an open round that we're hoping to close out by the end of July.
So get your friends together, donate to David's cause, and then donate to our cause so we can help more alum like David.
Exactly. And then I can donate back once Beam's a success. So it's a
great circle,
right? Exactly.
Hey, David, well, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us today. And we're happy to have you in this network and, be helping out not only you, but the Furman entrepreneurs that are growing up and starting their own ventures.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Matt.